Josh Gibson, teacher at Claremore, and we are in week 4, and this has been a good week of reading about Stella Adler and her work. Going back to the group theater, but even before that, Stella Adler was a committed actress. She grew up in an acting family, with her father being a leader in Jewish Yiddish theater. So she had already established a career by the time she hooked up with the group theater. And Lee Strasberg was directing that first performance, and she just butted heads with him. She did not like the effective memory exercises and going into your own personal emotional truth and all of that. It really slowed her down. And so, she did something. She took action into her own hands. She found Stanislavski in Paris, and she worked with him for weeks on end. And then she came back, and she's like, well, this is what I found out, and that was the rift. And so that's when Strasberg kept doing what he was doing, and that became the American method, and then everything else was based off Stanislavski. I really appreciate Stella Adler's focus on imagination. I've worked with a lot of young kids, as young as 4 or 5 years old, and that is just right on their. That's right where they are, using their imagination. You can get them to believe anything in the moment with the imagination of a child. I think that's a beautiful place to start, and you don't have to go into your deepest, darkest fears and anxieties to be a successful actor. So imagination is very important, and then also studying the script, understanding the character. In my lesson plans, I came up with some journal entries to get them to think, beyond the text, before the text. What happened? What was your character like before we meet them in the play? What are they like in this scene? What do they want? What's in their way? Those kinds of questions. And, focusing on the given circumstances as Adler laid out was the who, the where, the what, and the when. So you figure all those things out together with your scene partner, or if you're working on a solo project, you make sure you have all those details, and you focus on that instead of your personal life experiences and emotions. She does say it's okay, like if you don't know how this character would respond in these circumstances because it's too outside of your own personal experience, to think about a parallel experience. In the book, it talks about, being an expert on something. And the character is supposed to be an expert on restaurants, but the actor playing that part was unsure of how to proceed. So through a series of questions, they unlocked that for the actor. Are you an expert in anything? Was her question to the actor. And, his answer was yes on stereos. And then through a series of questions, she led him to understand how this restaurant consultant should behave in the scene based on what he knew from his own life. So it's okay to delve into your own life and your own experiences, but not at the sake of the circumstances and your imagination. So I thought it was a very good text. I liked hearing that NYU partnered with Stella Adler Conservatory, and that it's still going strong to this day. It sounds like they have a really good program there in New York, so that's exciting for them. But yeah, good reading this week.